Chaos Reign.
Chaos Reign presents The Rich Paul Rule, broadcast August the 11th, 2019. Enjoy.
Solutions.com are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
In a world where there's crime, corruption, violence, rape, murder, death, and all form of atrocities that plague the world we live in today, what you're witnessing, we are living in a state of chaos, and it'll take a greater, much extremer chaos to restore the order in which the world you live in today. Good evening, black people. This is Chaos here tonight. And before we start, let me make sure my YouTube is up, because I want to go into the subject matter. Let's say we do. Tonight's subject, we're going to deal with the title, The Rich Paul Rule. The call-in for tonight's show is 712-770-4160. The access code is 915-411-pound. I repeat, 712-770-4160. The access code is 915-411-pound. So let's get to this. But before we get into the talk, I want everybody to go to TalkRealSolutions.com. There you'll see a 3-point plan for Black Empowerment, Black Achievement. On a 3-point plan, you will also see what we like to call the list of black-owned banks. There in the black-owned banks, there's still, I believe, 30 still existing here in the United States. If you have any money or already have a bank account, you could also create another account with a black-owned bank and start moving some of your money into a black establishment bank. Also on the website, you'll see the latest articles, news, and current events that goes around here in North America and outside America. Also, the website has also donation to not only to the website but also to the show. You could donate as well as $2 to $5 to the show, keep the show going. And also you can find all episodes of these shows, including my shows, on Talk World Solutions on YouTube. You type in Talk World Solutions, you'll find every previous episode on this particular YouTube. Also, I have a YouTube as well, T.R.S. You can subscribe and go over there too if you want. Some of the shows that I do will move from either on this show and will be placed on my YouTube page as well. But other than that, I think I said enough. That's all I want to reveal. But before we get in, let me just get a quick hit up. So stand by. All right. As we wait, before we go into the Rich Paul, I might have my guests come in tonight, hopefully. But if not, I'm probably going to rock it solo, like always. I'm no stranger to solo, as y'all know. So, as I go back, and one thing I would like for people to know, that what is that y'all want to improve on Talk World Solutions? Because I normally do shows every Sunday, God willing. Mostly every Sunday, consistently I do shows on here. But what things do you want to see more into the show? Which more you want me to talk about? I need some feedback. And I feel that with lack of communication, it only solidifies where people's mindset's at. I've been saying this constantly on my own page. Every time you watch a video, either you like it or not, I always emphasize and stress, you must comment first. If you're subscribing good, then like the video. Why I always say comment first instead of like, comment, and subscribe? Because a lot of people comment and give feedback to a lot of the many videos that people put out here on YouTube, unless it's a popular YouTuber. But other than that, most people, they very stay quiet, and they might say something in regards to the subject matter, or they just like the drama, or whatever the case may be. They only will respond and comment to things that they be privy to like, to watch. And like always, my show that I try to do enough every weekend is trying to bring not only a different element, but the hope to, what's the word to say? To bring a sense of awareness. That's the best word I can say to what's going on in today's world. You know that the news on T.R.S. is always important, and people should really pay attention every Thursday to the latest local news that has been that's going on in the world. But and it seems to me, as I type up Rich Paul, I see a bunch of search engines. Wow. I don't know where to start on here. Yeah. This is very interesting. This is definitely interesting. And I'm definitely going to read this for y'all tonight. Well, let me check my YouTube up right now because I'm going to go into this subject right now. So let me go to home. Okay. Let me go back to the free conference so I can see my menu. I always forget to do that. Okay. All right, I'm going to check YouTube now, see if it's up and running. Talk Solutions. All right, it's not up yet, so I'm going to give it another few minutes before I go into the subject.
It's up, buddy.
Is up now? All right, good. All right, we can start, people. And let me refresh the page so I could go into T.R.S. There we go. It should be popping out any minute now. All right, it's there now, so I'll go back. Okay, so let's start, guys. The first article, entitled, Fans Were Convinced That the NCAA Singled Out Rich Paul with His New Agent Criteria. There is no agent in the basketball world with more notoriety than Rich Paul. He's LeBron James' agent. He funded Clutch Sports Group, and he influenced the NBA with a client list that is including Anthony Davis, Ben Simmons, John Wall, Eric Bledsoe, and Draymond Green. But apparently, the NCAA wanted no part of Rich Paul's influence when it comes to college athletes. As part of the series of new amateurism and the NBA draft rule that started this year, the NCAA allows players who had declared for the draft to hire agents as pre-draft advisors and maintain their college eligibility. But for 2019 and beyond, the NCAA is instituting minimum criteria for these agents. According to CBS Sports' John Rothstein, notably, bachelor's degree was the first item listed. Sources: the NCAA has officially added criteria for agents who wish to represent student athletes, tested in the waters for the NBA draft. Criteria: bachelor's degree, certified with MBPA for a minimum of 3 years, take an in-person exam at the NCAA office in Indianapolis. And Paul, despite being the game's most powerful agent, doesn't boost the typical educational background of most sports agents. He graduated from high school near Cleveland and befriended LeBron at an airport. He launched his career without the benefits of a bachelor's degree or a degree from a law school. Because of that, fans were convinced that this educational requirement was a clear shot at Rich Paul. Oh, so Rich Paul is a person. Interesting. I thought it was just some type of law they just put into it, but it looks like this is an actual person. Calling it Rich Paul law. Let's continue. Ruby Kirtland on Twitter, might as well just pull up a sign that says no Rich Pauls allowed. Jonathan Rothstein, sources: the NCAA has officially added criteria for agents who wish to represent student athletes, testing the waters for the NBA draft. And then it goes back to the same thing. Okay. And it looks to me like it's the same article. So that was it. So let's go to the next article. How Rich Paul could build a case against the NCAA over its new criteria for agents. Oh, so it looks to me, since they try infamous, looks like they also get sued for this implementation. And y'all know that in this country, like anything, you must sue like a effing Jew. Keep in mind. Let me see if I can play audio.
What kind of emotion? It comes from the heart. It means everything.
What kind of legal recourse could Rich Paul and other agents have against these countries?
Sure, Amy. They could argue that they've been victimized by a group boycott in the sense that the NCAA is imposing rules that make the marketplace for agents less competitive. Rich Paul and others who don't meet these criteria are excluded. They could argue that they're clearly good enough to operate in that space. Rich Paul, he didn't go to college, didn't earn a college degree, but if you look at his life experiences during his 20s and 30s, he's eminently qualified to be an effective agent. So the argument would be that this is a violation of antitrust law, that the schools in the NCAA, the NCAA itself, are conspiring to impose an anti-competitive rule that hurts those agents, and also you could argue hurts the players, because like you and Ryan just noted, that players can't get the top services of an agent if that agent isn't available, so they're more likely to sign with the agent and forfeit their remaining eligibility.
Michael, how about the NCAA here? If they are sued, what type of ground does the organization have to stand on in defending their decision?
The NCAA would initially say that it can do what it wants, that there's a long history in our court system of the NCAA being told, in essence, it's your show, antitrust law is weak in this area because we think amateurism is valuable. So there's that helps the NCAA. The other is that the NCAA could say, the fact that Rich Paul is certified by the NBA Players Association is irrelevant, that the NCAA's interests are about education, and that the decision between staying in college and going pro be enhanced if the agent himself or herself is a college graduate. They'll have a better sense of education and learning. I don't know if that's a good argument, but that's an argument they would likely make.
All right, that's it. And I apologize if you guys couldn't hear that. I had to play that. But let's continue to read. The NCAA reports intends to add criteria that would exclude. Hold on, let me stop this. To exclude certain agents who are certified by the NBPA from representing underclassmen basketball players. What type of case would Rich Paul and others in his position have if they choose to take action in court? According to the new report, the NCAA intends to add criteria for agents who would like to represent college underclassmen basketball players under new NCAA rules that took effect this past spring. Underclassmen can declare for the NBA draft, hire an agent, and for a limited time preserve their NCAA eligibility and opt to return to school. The report's criteria, however, will exclude Rich Paul and certain other agents certified by the National Basketball Player Association, NBPA, and discussed below. Paul could potentially sue the NCAA, claiming that the NCAA criteria violates federal antitrust laws. The changed landscape of agent college hoops and agents. Under the new NCAA rule, once the college season ends, and by no later than April 11, an undergrad player can request an evaluation from the NBA Undergrad Advisory Committee. That commits include NBA teams, executives who provide candidates and confidential projects of players' draft stock. Okay. Let me get rid of that. And the committees, to other words, does not import works. Some players are overly optimistic about their chances of being drafted in the first round and landing a guaranteed contract. The feedback they receive from the committee could warn them that they are likely to be drafted in the second round or not drafted at all. Those who remain NCAA eligibility might be wise to pull out of draft consideration and return to college, or not return to college and sign with the G League or prop team in another country. After the player makes the request to the committee, he can then hire an NCAA certified agent. The agent can then advise the player as he works out with NBA teams. The player then has until May 29th to decide if he wants to remain in consideration for the NBA draft or return to college. The NCAA determines that for the spring 2019 NCAA certified agent, including all NPA certified agents. In other words, Paul could represent college players who declare for the 2019 NBA draft while not preserving their NCAA eligibility. remain. Going forward, however, the NCAA warns that it would develop its own certification program for agents. Entering new reports by CBS Sports College Basketball Insider Joe Rothstein. Rothstein tweets on Tuesday that, according to his sources, the NCAA would require three main criteria, like I read from the previous article. 1, the agent must have a bachelor's degree. 2, the agent must be certified by the NPPA for at least 3 years. And 3, the agent must take a pass and an in-person exam at NCAA headquarters in Indianapolis. A number of NPPA certified agents will fail to meet these criteria. Some, like Paul, did not earn a bachelor's degree. Paul attended high school at Benedict, a private Roman Catholic high school in Cleveland. During his time in high school, he befriended LeBron James. This sparked a friendship that eventually led to Paul forming Clutch Sports Group. His agency represents James, Anthony Davis, Draymond Green, Ben Simmons, and other stars. Paul did not attend college. Let me get rid of that. Other NBPA certified agents will fail to require that they must be licensed by the NBPA for 3 years. Still, others might not pass the NCAA standard test. Potentially legal arguments against the NCAA criteria. Paul and other agents, including by the NCAA criteria, could argue that the criteria violates federal antitrust law, Section 1 of the Sherman Antitrust Fund Act, prohibit competing business from conspiring in ways to unreasonably interfere with competition. Section 1 is intended to limit opportunity for competing business to combine their economic power to the detriment of the marketplace. In this context, the competing business are the more than 1,200 schools, conference, and affiliate organizations, and that comprise the NCAA college competed in myriad ways, including for students, student-athletes, grants, sponsorships, faculty, staffs, media attention, any agreement amongst NCAA members that constrains competition is valuable to an antitrust challenge. To the point case brought to Ed O'Bannon, challenging NCAA rules that prevents players from licensing their names, images, and likeness, and Sean Austin and Justin Hartman challenging NCAA rules that cap the value of athletes' scholarships or permission on Section 1 chain. Okay, there's more. In Section 1 claim, courts usually apply rules of reason analysis. This type of analysis instructs that a restriction of competition is illegal if it produces anti-competition injuries that outweigh pro-competition advantage. In antitrust litigations, judges have identified a wide range of anti-competence injuries that include limited choice, increased price, and weakening quality. Paul then would need to show that the NCAA criteria would be more injurious to competition, that they would enhance competition. As a start point, Paul or another NBPA certified agent denied by the NCAA would emphasize that the NCAA criteria limits the number of agents available to college players. Fewer available agents could mean that some college players are unable to hire an agent. Ultimately, a small number of certified agents could become overextended in advising college players. The basic argument that the marketplace for agents would be less competitive. As a result, the NCAA criteria, the dynamics in terms could harm the quality of advising available college players. Second, Paul would object to the necessity of the criteria in a world where the NBPA already acts as a gatekeeper for agents. He would stress that the NBPA, which is the exclusive bargaining agents for all NBA players and which requires prospect agents to pass a standardized exam and meet other measures designed to ensure that NBPA certified agents are sufficiently skilled, considering him qualified to represent NBA players. Paul could credibly contend that if the NBPA deems him qualified, the NCAA should as well. 1 second. Third, Paul would balk at the rationality of the NCAA criteria. Paul can factually argue that he is one of the most successful agents in NBA history. His client list rivals those of other top agents. In that same vein, Paul's clients could easily hire different agents, but they place their trust in Paul and find his advice and guidance to be valuable. Paul then could question the logic of NCAA criteria that denies him an opportunity to share his formidable skill as an agent with college players, and the fact that Paul's 37 did not earn a college degree 15 years ago seem irrelevant versus the more recent history of professional successful that Paul has achieved in his 20s and 30s. Fourth, the NCAA criteria might pose outwitting consequences for the NCAA NPPA certified agents who are deemed a chance to represent college players might still reach out to those players. Instead of encouraging them to test the waters before ruling out a return to school, these agents would be incentivized to urge that the player permanently serve their ties with colleges. This would be possible if those agents land endorsement deals for the player who would forfeit their remaining NCAA eligibility by signing such deals. Along those lines, an agent deemed ineligible by the NCAA might be more inclined to opine that the player would be better off signing in the G League or abroad that's going back to school. Even an NCAA eligibility agent might be inclined to share such advice. Hold on, I got something. Since he or she would only earn a commission if the player signs a pro contract. Okay, that makes sense. Potential defense for NCAA. If the NCAA is sued, it will respond with a number of defense aimed at portraying the criteria and advantageousness to competition. First, the NCAA would argue that it has the legal autonomy to determine its own rule that relates to amateurism. The board sets of NCAA rules that purports to distinguish college athletes from professional athletes. The NCAA has long argued that it is exempt from rigorous antitrust scrutiny and an account of the unique qualities of amateurism. The NCAA has Supreme Court's proceedings on its side. In the 1984 antitrust case, NCAA versus Board of Regents, and the late Justice John Paul Stevens held the NCAA played a critical role in the maintenance of a reverent tradition of amateurism in college sports. He added that there can be no question but that it needs amplified latitude to play that role, or that the preservation of the student athletes in higher education adds richness and diversity to intercollegiate athletes. Hold on. The second, the NCAA would contend that the certification criteria are specifically designed with college athletes in mind. A college education agent might be more capable at representing players whose decision is being turned pro and return to school. In other words, the NCAA could maintain the NPA criteria and NCAA NCAA criteria for agent certification should be different given their different continuation. The NBPA is interesting in agents who aren't capable of representing professional players and employment opportunities with the NBA teams. The NCAA is interesting in agents who can guide college players through the potential transition between life as a college student and life as a pro. Third, the NCAA could insist its criteria enhanced rather than certain tail competition. To that end, the NCAA could emphasize by the limit that supply of available agents of those specificities qualify to represent college players. College players can be more secure in their choices of an agent. It remains to be seen if the NCAA agent certification criteria triggers legitimate litigation. We keep you posted by any development. And this is written by Michael McCain, a legal analyst, an attorney of director of the Sports Entertainment Law Institution and the University of New Hampshire. And I will keep this article to post. Okay. So I'm going to go to the chat room and see if people have any thoughts and opinions. I am going to take calls tonight, like always. And no stranger. But let me check chat room right now. Not much people watching right now, but they're going to let you watch. Okay. Yeah, but that was very interesting. This is my thing with the Rich Paul situation. Before I read the next article, let me just look. Y'all gotta understand that when it comes to competition, the whole purpose of competition is to take out the competition. Rich Paul is one of many out the exceptions of the rule in regards to competing with other racial people or factors of business when it comes to sports, especially basketball. And since he's been doing this since, I believe, for almost 19 years, maybe 18 years, because if he's 37 now, or he could be 38, he's been an agent consistently since 2000 or 2001. And I find it interesting that they came out of nowhere to put this rule in place because of his presence and his works as an agent for the NBA and helping these players get the right deals. My thing is this, and people got to understand this and know this well. Because us as race people, black men particularly, that because we not really controlling our own destiny and controlling these major institutions, now, like anything, they will change the game. Hell, they might go in and change the rules overnight if needed because you live in a competitive world. There's no such thing as fairness under a racially system we live in today. And because this man, Mr. Rich Paul, does his work very well, very effectively, and help a number of players that's doing good things now in the NBA and probably will do even greater things, I could see them make a move now to start restrict a talent like him or any other black talents. And I'm not talking about the non-black, but I'm talking about this black talents for the sake of conversation, to start now make it hard for them to get access to these players to help them in their development, in their decisions. Y'all know that the NCAA is a business. I hope people are aware of this. If not, please feel free to call in and tell me otherwise. Because these universities make millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. And make a lot of money. And one of the things that did hurt the NCAA for the past 14 years, I say 14 years. Because after 2005, they started implementing the rule that you have to play 1 year of college. Or you had to be away from high school for a year before you're eligible for the NBA draft. They did this because all the great talent that could have played for a university have decided to skip the college level and go pro. And it tells me that when people say that they're here to get educated, no, this school or the university that people go in today, and I focus on education. We are like, last time I checked, and I should double check it, we are like almost bottom last at education in this country. Everybody else outside of America are more well astute, read, and do math at a better level than us in America. Why? Because it is a recommendation. No, matter it is, I would say this, and this is going to come on. It is bound by law to make people in America dumb. Yeah, there's some Europeans that will catch them level and here. Yeah, we know that, but overall, all American people are supposed to be made to be dumb. And I'm not talking about black people. I'm talking about America as a society. We are bottom last in education. Why? Because it's easy to control people and to make people perpetual consumers, and to string them along to agendas that they don't know what really is the end game. This is how I look at it. And a lot of people should start looking at it as well. I remember I had a back and forth with a particular person about education, if people should go to college or not. Now, mind you, these people, or this person I talked to is pretty old up in the age, but this is my thing. This is low-level thinking to a lot of people that are a certain age today. Very low thinking. As a man, where I'm at, or I tell anybody, if you're going to go to any school or university to pursue education or a form of training, because all of it's form of training today, which you could get and learn for yourself, but today, because we're very complacent and we're lazy, and some of us not even read at level anyway or doing things level in the society, because if you're brought last in education, then obviously when you get to level to go to college, sometimes you don't even can't compete because you're already left behind because they're not teaching nothing. Yes, the private schools might teach some people you got to pay out money, but it seemed to me, why is there even private schools in the first place? Your role of the United States is to educate your people. Other countries do this, but this is the only country that do it. And a lot of people not really questioning that. How the fuck is Asia doing somewhat better, reading level, doing math, and all this at level? We're not. Same thing with certain people from the continent. Either they get access to education or not. They are at a certain level once they get access to certain education. Same thing with the Caribbean. Same thing going with South America or in Europe. When it comes to actual education, which I like to call training, everybody outside America is at level and apart, and they educate their people so the people don't get misled and dumbed down to be controlled by their government. Here, they dumb you down enough so you can be easily controlled and be a consumer. And that's a straight up fact. A lot of people don't like to hear this why I say this, but I'm keeping it real with y'all. So with this Rich Paul thing, to have him go for hoops if it possibly might happen, unless he's able to win a lawsuit soon to NCAA for this shit. A lot of top agents that are like Rich Paul or even better are going to be denied to a lot of these athletes. And what it does, it opens the doorway for all other non-blacks that get their people or actually get the agents they want under the table. They get a little money on the table too, which they don't talk about. They do this for one thing and one thing only, is to take out the competition. See, you got to understand, brothers, you're in a competitive world, whether you like it or not. Whether you in the STEM field, whether you're a lawyer, doctor, or any of the fields that you go in for years and years to get the degree from, you always got to keep in mind that you are competing against your opposite opponent or your enemy, which is someone that's most likely 9 times non-black. And the one thing that will hinder you for your progress is, like I said, certain rules and things put in place to keep you out of these not only these institutions, but keep you behind. And y'all should know that certain institutions right now in America are privatized. Prisons privatized. I think medical is privatized. I could be wrong. Please correct me, as y'all call it. Or education could be privatized. At the end of the day, once something is privatized, that means now they can shut out who comes in and who does not come in. So one thing our people should really fight the most out of everything else, if they're in these positions of fields, is to fight off privatization. You hear me? Because privatization is the only thing right now that is going to cut you out of the wealth or any institutions so you can progress and prosper. I'm just keeping it real. So, now, let me see what other articles are here to read up on here. Okay, let me look. Let's see. Let's look at Rich Paul and LeBron James. The Chosen One. Okay. He thinks about it all the time. What if he hadn't worn a throwback? What if he had worn polo that way he did most days? He loves polo, and not just the shirt. He had polo bed sheets, bathrobes, towels, salt, pepper shakers. But on this day, he went with a vintage football jersey. If I didn't have on that jersey, we don't have a conversation, Rich Paul said. And if they didn't have a conversation, he not in a State Farm commercial denying love for kid and play, while two friends mimic the bubblegum rappers' dancing moves. If they don't have a conversation, he's not on stage at the ESPYs grooving alongside the NBA's best player in a parade of Bobby Brown. My prerogative. If there is no conversation, there are no boardrooms meetings with Nike, Phil Knight, no chance to pick the brains of some of the country's smartest, wealthiest business people, no personal discussion with NBA general manager, and no trips to the Oval Office to meet President Obama if a 17-year-old LeBron James isn't smitted by a powder blue Warrant Moon Houston oil throwback. Paul is never in a position to become a force in the agent game. Back then, James was a junior in high school and nearly a household name. He and some friends were at Akron Canton Airport about a board of flights to Atlanta for the 2002 NCAA Final Four. James was dressed for the occasion in a Michael Vick Falcon jersey that was sure to get love down south. There was just one problem. The jersey was a replica, not a authentic. All true jersey heads can spot the difference, and James was a jersey head. The replicants had iron and numbers of letters. He said on the authentic, they sworn, but James wasn't next to the real thing, so he figured he was safe. Then along came the real thing, tiny and thin, but with swag twice his size. Then the 21-year-old Paul strolled towards the gates in his authentic Warrant Moon, complemented by white Air Force One with the red soles and the red swoosh. James and his friends did double take. Finally, James approached the little man and asked where he got his jersey. Turned out Paul and Cleveland native sold them from the trunk of his car. James would soon have a gold Magic Johnson Laker authentic and blue Joe Nathan Rams, and James and Paul would soon become the best of friends. It is 10 years later, and the 32-year-old Paul is still fascinated by polo designer Ralph Lauren. He courtside as the Cavaliers take on the Mavericks, talking with Fred Nisi, his high-power lawyer, who was once a finalist for the NFL commissioner job. Paul is wearing a neatly tailored gray suit from Lauren Black Label line with a handsome pocket square and black Louis Vuitton boots. As seen half warm-up begins, Mavericks guard Dayton Jones sided with behind him. "What's going on, super agent?" Jones said with a grin. "Nah, that ain't me," Paul said as they share a pound hug. "I'm just trying to do my job." In the dog-eat-dog world of player representation, all agents sleep with one eye open, watching for who could be the next threat, which competitor is on the first name base with the future lottery pick, who could land the next superstar, who could catch the eyes of one of my clients. When Paul shook up the agent world in September by abruptly leaving Leon Rose and Creative Artists Agency, he became that guy. Not breaking from a super agent is unusual, but because when he left to start Clutch Sports Groups, he took James and one of the world's most glorified, recognizable athlete with him. Rich is now a major threat to every large corporate agency that exists, said Chris Lachey, who represents Nuggets for Wilson Chandler and 3 other NBA players. Lachey worked for 2 of the league's most powerful agencies, SFX and Wasserman Media Group. Before launching CGL Sports in 2007, he knows from experience that when recruiting college kids, mega firms feast on the ideal that it takes an agent that size to represent marquee players, and the fact that the large icon in the sports today has an agent from the boutique from Kill Every Myth these large agencies have been standing on. Lachey said they're trembling throughout the industry, and that's why some people are taking shots at Rich. Here's the common refrain. LeBron James made one of his boys a woefully unqualified member of his entourage, his agent. He didn't graduate from college, and so how did he get certified, said the competitor. I just hope we don't have another Master P situation on our hands, said another, reference to the rapper unsuccessful foray onto the agent biz. How he's going to walk into a future 500 sports brand company and negotiate a deal. As one more, you can't give a dentist a scalpel and say, go do heart surgery. And it's not just verbal shots. The NCAA, as a December 19, had yet to confirm reports that Texas guard Mickey Caboclo received a season-long suspension for lying about receiving improper benefits last May. An investigation that implicates Paul, who was then working as a recruiter for CAA. Paul denies any improprieties, but knows that even allegations can damage his credibility. Walking the corridors of his alumni matters, Cleveland Bennett High School, Paul shakes his head at the mention of the situation. It is a cutthroat business, said Paul. I'm a target. Where I come from, I'm seen worse. When James returned from the Final Four a decade ago, he called Paul and invited him to hang out in Akron. Both had mother with struggling with the perils of urban life while raising their son. Both grew up in the hood but attended mostly white Catholic high school to play basketball. Both recognized the importance of doing well in school. We used to say there is nothing cool about being a dummy, Paul recalled. He accompanied James to hoop camps and tournaments. They spend hours doing push-ups and talking about everything from being considered just another inner-city kid to the point of respecting your mother regardless of her past. I was always picked his mind, and he was always picking mine. James said shortly after James was drafted, he called Paul one afternoon and asked for his Social Security number. Paul had no idea what James was up to, but about a week later, he received a check from King James, Inc. It was his first 2 weeks' pay. There was no plan, certainly no business plan in place then, but James was confident that they figured it out along the way. I just felt like Rich was someone I want to grow with, James said. He always kept it real with me and want him to be down with my team. The team became known as the Four Horsemen: James, Paul, Maverick, Carter, and Randy Miz. Although Paul had earned a rep as a party guy for putting together events at clubs and such, it became evident early on that he was not merely interested in enjoying the spoils of having a pal in the NBA. Me and Mav and Randy would stay up hours and hours and hours and try to figure out what we were going to do when LeBron was done playing. Paul said they formed a LRMR, a market firm for James. But Paul was busy in another area too. Nike noticed that it is meeting with James, and the superstars would look to Paul for advice on the design of his clothing and sneakers. Paul would spend time on the streets of different cities taking notes on what style were hot to keep James' product on the cutting edge. He also wasn't shy about engaging Knights and other powerful executives in business conversations. In fact, Paul's ability to develop relationships across all racial and social economic lines is perhaps his greatest strength, and it came to handy when he left the LRMR to recruit for Rose in 2008. He brought several players, basketball and football, to CAA and helped turn Rose into one of the most powerful agents in the business. Rose knows Paul would someday follow in his footsteps, let him participate in negotiation talks to GMs and essentially do the work of an agent. I had great teaching, Paul said, working with Nike and its CAA, that equivalent of going to Michigan Law School and MIT. So it looks like this man has some form of mentors that they don't talk about. Yeah. The NBA Players Union said more than 10 of its certified agents either do not have a college degree or do not have one of the time they were certified. Yet, regardless of their level of education, every single agent goes to the union for advice on contracts and has the help of his own legal team. Paul, who took college courses on Akron and Cleveland State, has the same support system available to him. There are very few agents who are truly sophisticated and school-taught lawyers who understand everything about contract law, said one longtime GM who has dealt with Paul. There is no specific training to be an agent. Most of the smart ones are more market guys than anything else. Is Rich sophistication enough? Well, he's sophisticated enough that he has LeBron. James is not the only one who has faith in Paul. Former lottery pick Tristan Thompson of the Cavs, Clippers guard Eric Bledsoe, and Spurs guard Corey Joseph had also joined Clutch. In reality, though, the threat is not actually Paul, but this new breed of agents. Not Clutch, but the series of clutches. If Paul is successful, what's to stop another superstar, ambition best friend from learning the corporate aim while still maintaining the authenticity and street cred it takes to earn the trust of friendship of player? Make no mistake about it. Many middlemen, recruiters, or runners are watching Paul closely, wondering whether he might blaze a trail they can soon follow. The middleman puts in all the work and gets crumbs for it, said one NBA executive. Rich could end up being a model for young guys in the future who are close to a star player. They could follow what he's doing and start changing the name of the game. In the summer of 2011, Paul James, Dwayne Wade, and others were in the Bahamas just weeks after the Heat had upset by Dallas in the finals. The dinner table in their renting mansion was full of steak, seafood, fruit, and more. But the mood was sour. James and Wade were beating themselves up trying to explain what happened. Paul stepping in. Man, it wasn't meant for y'all to win. Man, what are you talking about? Said in an ink, James. The reason you don't win is that you weren't being you, Paul said. You were playing with a lot of anger, being someone you're not. If God had let you win, you would felt like you should have been that person. Angry thinking everybody's against you's not having fun on the court. That's not you. Man, whatever you said, James, I'm not trying to hear this. It's bigger than that, or it's bigger than what you did on the floor, Bron. It starts from day one, when you decide to be someone else. God took you from your highest point to your lowest point so you could be humble. So you couldn't look in the mirror and be a player or a better player. Experience is the best teacher. James was quiet, but the words uttered by one of the few men who can deliver King James an unpopular message hit home. Before long, an interview at his camp in the Mirror, LeBron was saying the exact same thing. Okay. Las Vegas with Jaylen Brown got the town last weekend. He was looking for and trying Mizimi, a high-end Japanese restaurant at the Wynn Hotel. So on Sunday night, with three of his Boston Celtics teammates also preparing for Team USA training camp, we decided wait, hold on. That's the wrong one. I'm sorry. We were in Vegas. We thought we'd be fine, Brown with his smile. The group instead went to the Italian restaurant and had their first chemistry-binding meal. And it was Tatum, by the way, who picked up the bill, despite it being Walker, who just signed a $140 million deal. He get the next one as long as it's not me. Brown jokes. That was the first time as a group we got a chance to sit down together. It was the first of many. The shifting Town USA roster over the past several weeks enables Brown and Smart to earn invites. Tatum was already on the roster, and Walker had committed before he signed with the Celtics in free agency. It all creates an unexpected chance for the established Celtics to get time together with their new teammates. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm not reading a new article. All right. That's the end of the previous article. I was reading something else. I'm sorry, guys. It happens. All right. I'm going to save this article here. All right, let me see if anybody raised their hand yet. Okay, look like somebody raised their hand. I'm going to take this call. Hello, who's this?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up?
I was just listening to you, man. Where are you going with this? I'm just curious.
I'm going in regards to talk about this Rich Paul law that the NCAA is implementing now in regards to agents able to, participate in these players and their decisions or potentially stay in school, leaving school, or going to the draft, especially in basketball.
Okay.
Rich Paul, which I never heard of until yesterday or the day before yesterday, and then I now just read and saw a picture of this. This is a black man.
Okay.
Most likely he's a millennial / Gen Xer, but for the sake of conversation, he's a millennial. I know people really question about millennials and Gen Xers, but he's a late 30-something-year-old man that has a very strong agency that helps recruit and get the agents what they need. So what's happened that his firm, I think the thing he created called Clutch Agency, is picking up a lot of steam in regards to getting the best players and making the right moves. So what the NCAA is implementing, if you catch earlier, Greg, they're trying to put criteria to start slow down any player or any person like Rich Paul to be emerging to do the same thing in regards, getting the top players. That's like a little brief summary I can give out. I'm not sure what's your thoughts on that.
I don't know. I'm just not excited. But wish the guy luck, though. I mean, I'm not trying to shit on your little show, but I just think we got enough ball players, man.
We got ball players, but we don't. When they talk about these agents, because I didn't know about these agents that don't go to school, but they doing a hell of a good job recruiting.
Yeah.
And getting what they are. I mean, you got to understand, at the end of the day, I said earlier in the broadcast, this is all about competition at the end of the day. So at times they know you're creeping up, taking the best players out of, certain situations. Remember, the NCAA is a business. You aware of that, Greg?
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad. We have more black agents, but letting these agencies take a piece of their money. I'm all good for brothers being agents. Get those Jews out of the hands of those young black men. I'm all for that, but
you can't get rid of Jews. The Jews gonna be everywhere. You know that, Greg. They're everywhere. They can't.
Well, we can work. We can. Well, they own the teams. Most of the owners are Jewish.
Yeah.
So we need to.
Yeah, they own the team. So to really say we get rid, the only thing you could do is you pose a presence to help in regards to get your player what they need in regards to negotiation. If you're a black agent per se, but in regards to really controlling the market, no. I'm saying, and I'm not sure how many people like Rich Paul exist, but there's
a lot of black agents, man, but they aren't. You know what? There are a lot of black agents. I think Jay-Z's an agent, but a lot of black men, for whatever reason, they don't trust black agents and they want to go with established agents. That's just an American black thing in general. A lot of us black folks don't trust other black folks when we do business. That's just, we have a distrust of each other, which started back in slavery. Distrust each other. We've got light skin against dark skin against lights. We've got young blacks against the old blacks. We have the black men against the black women. We have generations against each other. We have blacks against the Dominicans and the Puerto Rican blacks, and we're all fucked up, man. But like I said before, man, we got enough ball players, man. I mean, I'm tired of the NBA. We got enough of these motherfuckers. We need more brothers in the STEM fields and shit like that.
Yeah, we need them in certain industries, and if they can control it even better. Yeah, I agree. We need them in these certain other places.
I'm tired of these ball players. Besides, these ball players, man, they're not. I mean, they make money. What do? They get a nice crib. They get a lot of pussy, get cars and jewelry. I mean, it ain't like they really do anything. I think LeBron is a little bit, and there are players doing shit, but collectively, man, I mean, they're not doing shit. So, I don't care about the biggest, but I don't understand it either because, I mean, we NBA we only got one brother owns a team, Michael Jordan, I believe. I mean, all these brothers. I mean, baseball. I mean, I think Magic Johnson owns 3% of the Dodgers. I mean, that's about it as far as I can say. I don't really have. I don't know why we don't have more black ownership in these sports. I don't know. It's kind of perplexing to me. I don't know, man. I just think we need to get. I think to be honest, man, I would like to see them raise the academic standards at college. a lot higher, and I would like.
Like, what do you mean raise the academic? Right? Elaborate. Explain.
Well, like the SEC football, and I mean they have really low standards, man, as far as academics. I would like to see it raised, where you have kids that are going to school. Because I hate watching TV and then you see these players and a lot of them can't even fucking read. I mean, they can't even
Well, they
speak
could probably
correctly.
read from the start, but you got to think
about.
Well,
that's why I think we ought to raise the standards, man.
That's the in this country that I said earlier in tonight's broadcast that we are bomb blast in education, and I'm not joking on this, but you got to understand this system. They make a conscious effort to dumb down the population of Americans in this country, because you can have a thriving. That's why you look at why the country's in this situation and now, because they want to control everything. They want people to be perpetual consumers. In other words,
whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
I mean, who knows whose fault that's we could say is the system, government. I mean, we could probably say other individuals, but eventually, and I'm gonna say this, because we live in America now.
Okay.
Outside America, and we can agree and disagree on this one. They do not dumb down their population people like how America does here. And you know why? Because they take pride in educating people. Because their people are dumb, so will their nation be dumb, and they're gonna go right into the tanker. You get me?
Yeah.
Right now, when we in this typical point right now in America, because we're in a serious decline. That is not people's fault. That is by design. That's a system fault. Because
it's a system fault?
Yeah, no, listen. Because think about it.
I don't know about that.
Hear me out. Yeah. Because think about this. What is the amount of money that they spent, the budget in America? You know most of the money go to in America? You know education don't get not even half that budget in education. You know that, right?
No, I didn't know that.
And we can pull up right now. Let me see if I can pull up. Since we're talking about it. All right, let me see what the best way to say in Google. I would say United States budget. You could talk while I try to find this.
Look, they did dumb us down as far as
budget.
They wouldn't even give. What's up? Hey, you want to see this brand new? No, I'm good. I already got one, man. No, I got one. I got everything, man. Yeah, I already got one. Look, man. Like in Louisiana, they refuse to give us black kids textbooks. Louisiana, and a lot of them southern states. Like my father only went to the 8th grade because they encouraged you back then to you had to work, help the family out. But nowadays, it's 2019, man, and we got the internet, we got libraries everywhere. There is no reason why.
Spending.
Look, fuck all that. That don't mean shit. There's 2019. There is no reason why a black man he could educate himself, bro. I mean, I'm sorry, man. I mean, there's all avenues out here for you to go to community college. You could listen, man. I mean, come on, it's 2019 now. Okay, we can self-educate yourself. You don't have to sit back and wait for people to educate you. You can open up. I remember my father. My father wasn't a man. I mean, he had a lot of street smarts. He had a good common sense, but book wise, I mean, shit, he finished. And he wasn't the brightest guy and the sharpest tool in the box. But I remember growing up, he would always make us read to him all the time. And I remember growing up, man, like 5th grade. My father would always tell me to go grab a newspaper with my brothers, and I'm like, he would always read to me.
All right, military spending, $160.
It starts with the parents, man. Look.
Social Security, $555 billion.
That doesn't mean nothing, man. That don't mean shit. Okay.
Increased the deficit by 2. Okay. The last year, Great Recession. Okay. President Obama. Okay.
Come on, man. If you show me a fucking kid that can't read, I'll show you a parent that can't read. Okay? I mean, come on, man. It's 2019. There's no reason why. I mean, let's get real here, man. I mean, we can't keep blaming these white boys over everything, over all our fucking failures, man. Huh? Come on, man. We can't put everything on these white boys. Shit.
Let me see if I can be specific with Google, because I'm not specific. Let me type up something.
What are you talking about?
No, I'm looking up right now. I'm trying to be specific with a search engine. All right. United States budget in education.
How you doing? Let me have 30 on number 3. Number 3, yeah.
Department of Education Administrator of the United States Secretary of Education. It has unlike 4,000 employees. Annual budget for education is $68 billion of 2016. That's the Department of Education. So let's go. What is the education budget of 2018? Because this is still 2019, so we're not going to know that. So right now, the president requests $59 billion in discretionary appropriations of the Department of Education in fiscal year of 2018. $9 billion or 13% reduction below of 2017. Annual continued resolution CR level request includes $1.4 billion to support new investment, public and private school choice. Okay, so that's, I'm not sure what the percentage said. 13% reduction. I don't even know the percentage, but that doesn't seem like a lot. $1 billion. No, that doesn't seem like a lot.
Did you hear anything that I was saying about education?
I was listening.
Look, I remember when I was in Germany, when I joined the Army, and they sent me to Germany, and I'd be riding the trains, going around the places, the soldier. And I would come across these little German girls. And in Europe, Germany, I don't know, I think France, they have to learn a foreign language to graduate high school. So most of them took French or English. Most of them took English. And so, I'll be brief. So they'd always practice their English on me. I didn't mind. But I started talking to these German girls and guys, youngsters, 14, 15 years of age. They knew more about Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Dan Mark Vesey. They knew the history of Black America better than I fucking knew it. And I used to be embarrassed by that because they'd be asking me about Marcus Garvey and all this other shit, and the motherfuckers even knew the rap lyrics, like Curtis Blow and all that shit. I mean, I would be surprised. Some fuckers read the lyrics and shit and breaking the shit down. It's 15-year-old Germans and shit in Austria. And those motherfuckers are just educating themselves, man. It was what we need to start fucking doing.
I'm here. Great.
Yeah. I'm getting.
All right. Is that you, Sarge? Hello?
I'm getting on a tangent here. I'm sorry. But the point I'm trying to make is this, man. I mean, shit, you get fucking brother can educate his motherfucking self. You ain't got to sit back in the cut, and fucked up. They got substandard. We got substandard schools. Teachers don't get it. I understand that, but we got to educate ourselves, bro.
Gary?
Yes. Is that you, Gigi?
Yes.
What's up? I thought it was Sarge because his number.
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
Can I talk now or should I wait?
Yes,
huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I didn't want to interrupt. I think that, thank you so much, Gary, for doing the show, taking the time out of your busy schedule to open up the lines. I think the issue of the young German people is that it's Black culture. Everybody around the world is inspired by Black culture and the Black struggle. So I think that's, great. But also the fact that we are not taught our own history in school, like practically ever. I don't know what they've been doing the last 10 years maybe, or maybe 15 years, but we don't know our own history because we were never taught it. So it's true we do have to, educate ourselves and our family members, but we're working at a deficit, I believe, as far as Black history and the history of
colored people around the world. I'm done. Thank you.
DJ, let me ask you a question. And what I said earlier, coming from when you took the broadcast, what's your views on Rich Paul rule? If you heard about it before.
On who?
Rich Paul rule. The Rich Paul rule. Rich Paul is a sports agent.
I'm so sorry. I didn't hear that part of the. I just came on just now.
Oh, I understand. Okay.
I could answer, but I don't want to take up too much time.
No, you might as well because only 2 people on the line.
Oh, okay. Can you make it brief?
No, go ahead, talk.
He's a sports agent that what? I don't know.
Well, when I said earlier in the broadcast, and I know it's a black agent, I thought it was like some type of thing they just came up with. It's actually a brother by the name Rich Paul, as a sports agent. He found it called Clutch, I think, and it deals with helping young talent agents, get the right deals. He's like a regular agent, you know what I'm saying? For them that wants to get drafted and then what direction and advice. He's that person they turn to. He's a 37 or probably 38-year-old black man that doesn't have a degree, but he's been doing this for, if I project it right, I would say he's been doing this for almost 17 to 19 years.
Wow. Because
if he's 30, in late 30s, that means he graduated back in early 2000. So
he's a sports agent that professional athletes go to for advice.
Yeah, if you looking to get drafted, what's your stock value? All that stuff. He's the guy to turn to. He's able to negotiate you so you get the right deal.
Oh wow! So what's your issue with him?
I said that's no issue. You got to listen to the early part of the show.
I can't do it now.
I know you can't do it now, but there's no issue. I just read about.
There's no issues.
So his name is Rich Paul?
Yeah, Rich Paul. Rich Paul.
Oh, that sounds very interesting. I'm going to look up that later.
Yeah,
look,
that's like a little short summary.
It's nice to get good black news, so thank you.
Hey, look, man, I wasn't trying to. Let me jump. I want to say one thing about the woman said that the point I was trying to make was that these German girls and guys they had a thirst for education and knowledge, something that inspired me to step my game up a little bit. Because kids were 14, 15, and they knew more about black history than I did, and I was in my 20s. Which like I
can't hear you.
I was embarrassed a little bit that these teenagers knew more about black history than I did. That they took the time to study our history on their own. They did it on their own, and I was inspired by that. And we can educate ourselves. You don't need to look to the government to educate you. We got all sorts of devices. We got laptops, computers, libraries. You can educate yourself, man. You don't have to rely on the government to educate you, or don't rely on the government to educate your kids. Do it yourself as a parent.
Big J, if you're on the line, you can follow him too, brother. Go on, continue. I'm trying to say that.
I get tired of talking to dumbass kids out here, 14, 15. I talk to kids too when I'm on the subway, or I'm just fucking around. I talk to them. See what their brains are. See what they're talking about. And there's nothing going on in there. They're devoid of anything. I mean, they're talking.
But they don't represent all the young people.
I talk to a lot of them, and I get a good cross-reference of them. I talk to a lot of youngsters. I do. Actually, matter of fact, I do. And
no, what I mean is, would
you shut up and let me finish? This is my experience. This is my experience. I have talked to a lot of kids, just fucking around talking to them, black youth, and trust me, there's nothing going on in these kids' brains. Nothing. There's nothing intelligent. They're not talking about anything of relative. It's all bullshit, and they have these cake batter brains. And this is the future. Kids with these cake batter brains, and we can't go on with this shit, man.
All right,
we cannot. We can't go on because I actually watched the Japanese TV show. So they have a channel. I think it's called Japanese News or some shit. I forgot. I watch sometimes. Man, the motherfuckers doing all kind of shit in Japan, doing all kind of robotics and looking towards the future and all kinds of shit, man. And these are kids, and our kids aren't doing this shit, man.
Yes, they are. Our children are doing. As a matter of fact, an all-girl, excuse me, Greg, an all-girl robotics team won the best in the world.
A lot of y'all are not qualified to talk about black issues.
Why not?
Because the reason why is because.
Wait. Before y'all continue, hold on. Big J, let me ask you a question before you say anything. What's your take on incel?
What?
Incel.
I think incels are. I don't know why you asking me that, but I'll answer for you. What's my take on them?
Question. It has to be nothing long-winded, but
What's my take on them? Those guys who felt left behind.
Okay. So let me ask you another question, and then you could go into your thing. Do you consider yourself an incel?
No.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
What's an incel?
Yes, I'm sure.
Insolvent some shit.
Guys. All right. All right. So go into what you about to say, Big J.
Wait a minute, Gary. I know. Now I figure out why you asked me. Because Anger Man told you.
You already answered the question. You have to be long-winded, brother. Why are we not qualified?
No, Anger Man. Is either Anger Man or a demo Negro from the Black Manosphere told him.
Hold on. Stop. Everybody stop. Why are we not qualified to talk about issues? I want to hear this. And you better be damn clear about it.
Because just like what happened when Gigi was trying to correct old boy, right? There are numerous of schools, numerous of students who have done well, but yet the narrative has always been said, man, we don't got nothing. We never get ahead, and they're not qualified to talk about black issues. Most people on here is not qualified to talk about black issues. I'm sorry, this is the truth. It's always on some neonistic, depressing, cynical worldview, and people speaking while actually having the information. So when Greg said that dumb shit, it's not true. Stop. And here it is. Here's also another thing I don't like. Why are you comparing somebody else's highlight reel to your behind-the-scenes issues? That's all I got to say. I'm done.
Will you repeat what you just said? I didn't get that question.
Stop repeating. No, scratch that. Stop comparing somebody else's highlight reel to your behind-the-scenes issues.
I'm not sure what you mean by that. Well, let's go.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
You don't know what that means? Oh. You don't know what that means.
You want me to explain it? Gary?
No, let's move on, because I don't know what the BJ be.
Well, you should know what he's trying to say to you. Basically, don't talk about the best of a certain group and not talk about what's really going on behind the scenes.
So what's going on behind the scenes then, DG?
The highlight reel is the best of a particular group's history, but not telling the horrors and the poor behavior behind the scenes.
Okay.
Like the media, they always show the black person as the the welfare face or the single mother face or the crime face, but they don't show the white people behind the scenes who have more public assistance and more divorce and more deadbeat dads. I'm done.
Okay. All right, good. All right.
You sound very good and very clear tonight, Gary.
Well, I know. I got a nice phone, so you know how things go, so I had to make sure.
Why is it so hard? Why is it so hard for a person not to sit there and understand what a simple statement? I really don't understand that.
I don't think you're mad at Gary. I think you're mad at Greg. But get in line.
Yeah, I don't know if Greg's still here, but he might have gone. But you know how things go. Yeah. One question.
If you want to know about black economics, if you want to know about black economics and black excellence and all that, go to cities and towns that have successful economic realities, like DeSoto, Texas, like some of these cities and towns that none of y'all. That
Texas one up there in tech and other things.
I said DeSoto, Texas. I mean towns and cities, towns I should say, that are mostly black.
All right. Hello, Joshua. Continue on Big J. Sorry.
Oh, that was cold, Gary.
No. Got to open another person's line. Continue on Big J. Got to open the line. One of my lines dropped. You there, Big J? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Continue with
Why not just go to the towns and cities, towns rather, that are black and that are successful? I don't know why it's so hard for people who call themselves pro-black, but then all they talk about is some shit. It's some negative shit. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure that out about y'all. You got some black towns out here where people are making money. All y'all worried about worrying about interracial dating and shit. You got black kids, you got black couples all over the damn places in these cities and towns. But none of y'all will sit there and actually talk to these individuals. Y'all rather talk to some philosopher who repeating what Crux Wilson and John Henry Clark be telling y'all. Seriously. But I'm done.
All right. One question I'll ask you, Big J, since you're on the line, and I might get Joshua in a second. What's your take on the Rich Paul rule? I know you didn't catch the early part of the show, but you heard about it.
No, because I was at work. People.
You heard about it, right? You heard about this, right? You heard about it?
No. That is.
I'm taking jabs at Joshua, Big J.
Huh?
No, don't worry about G. Don't worry about what G said. All right, cool. All right, thanks, Big J. Joshua, you there?
Hey, what's going on?
Yes, brother.
Hey, Joshua.
All right. Yeah, what's the topic, please?
Yeah, hold on. Stay right there for a second. Open this line. Who's this?
He was talking about the agent, and it's a good story. He wants to, represent a lot of athletes, which is positive. I guess that's good. So.
All right, good.
Hello?
All right, Greg. Chill for a second. I got Joshua. Joshua, the title of this stream is The Rich Paul Rule. I'm not going to go into detail if you didn't hear about it. This has been buzzing now for the past week, I believe. Mm-hmm. Rich Paul is a sports agent, and right now the NCAA has put new rules and stipulations for agents to come and look at talent, players that in college or so that way they could give them advice to help them maximize their potential.
That's fantastic.
Huh?
Well, here's the thing. There's a double sword with that, okay? I think that there should be some rules. There should be some rules on college athletes on how they come out of college and when they come out of college to go professional, etc. There should be some rules to that. The second part would be that you do on the other side. A lot of these schools are making a lot of money off these athletes. Period.
Mm-hmm.
I always look at it from a historical perspective, and I always say there was a time when a lot of these black athletes couldn't even go to these schools. You see, but now they profit mostly off of the backs of black athletes. Period. They make a lot of money off these guys. They make a lot of money. A lot of the shoe companies come to these colleges, despite them saying that these young men are not being a lot of sponsors come to these colleges. They want to sponsor these commercials, etc. These schools are making big money off these athletes. And, there's been an argument, should these athletes get paid or not for playing in college? Should they give them a check, give them an allowance for playing, and that's a double-edged sword. I mean, that could be something that they could work out. But there should be, so it's a double-edged sword. They created this monster, and this monster is what? Stardom, money, athletes, expensive colleges. All they glamorize these colleges now. So this is something that they built up. You see. So, but yeah, I do believe there should be a rule. But I also believe that there's another side to it, and it's something that they're going to have to work out. I don't have really a solution on it. My solution would be that if I got a solution is this, that you should pay the athletes to stay in college for their 4 years. Stay in college for 4 to 5 years, then go professional. A lot of them coming out of college early because they know they can get paid doing it. They know they're going to get paid big bucks to come out of college if they're superstars in college. So the thing is that if you would pay them, something, they might not want to leave college so quickly. They might want to continue college and continue and take their academia a lot more seriously, than what they do. So, and not saying that all black athletes don't do that. A lot of black athletes take their academics seriously. But my point is that, again, I think that's how it should be worked out. You pay those athletes, they stay in school, they get their degree, etc., and then they can go play professional ball. I think that's how it should be. But again, it's their fault. They made this big thing. They made this power. They did this. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got to say about that, man. That's all. I'm done.
Okay. All right. Well done. Thank you, Joshua.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, man. This rule, it's going to probably change the game heavily, but not only blacks, but also non-blacks in particular, unless they got, a connection to get around that. But normally when they implement any rule, it's always to slow down another set of people. It's all about competition. I want people to just get understanding. But let me open the next caller. Open your line. Who's this?
Hi. Speaking of basketball, there is a growing trend for international players in the NBA. And I think there are about 106 players from Africa, Spain, Croatia, Australia, what have you. I see that this increasing and African-American, foundational African-American players decreasing in the future. And I think it's being done intentionally. And that, the face of the NBA will be different in about 10 years.
Okay.
So in terms of negotiating contracts and how much, how you can position yourself and how much, negotiating you can do as your numbers dwindle will be interesting to see. So that's my point on that. And we can see, this has happened in all areas of employment. And that's, they're basketball players. That's their job. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to throw that out, something to just think about.
One thing, this is Miss Lady, right? I'm talking to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting, Miss Lady, and I asked Tom earlier that I had the news, I think it was Thursday, and I'm not sure if this article came up with the Rich Paul rule. And I'm not sure I'm the only one that talked about it tonight. But I find it very intriguing in regards to competition and the rise of a lot of these agents that's doing a lot of things that's helping a lot of these athletes to get the right deal possible. I could see these type of changes being implemented because, like anything in competition, you had always, like a business, take out the competition. A lot of businesses don't like competition. And have a particular player like Mr. Paul that's doing real good work for a lot of these agents to get the possible deal and all other things to help in their further growth in their careers in these arenas, then I could see them stepping in now to start to slow that down or slow anybody else that might come like a Rich Paul down the line. I could see it. And it tells that if you have talent and drive and the will to study, you could have many like Rich Paul out here. I mean, now regardless to the criteria that they had to do 4 years of college and all that nonsense, I mean, there are a lot of people that's going to get around that. I think that criteria should be done for people that are non-black. That's just me, but only time will tell. All I know is he's now trying to sue NCAA, so we got to sit back and see how that will pan out. And I might do a talk about it in a future broadcast if he wins in this, attempt to go after this NCAA. We'll see. Yeah, but it is what it is. So anybody?
You know what? I mean, they could get a bachelor's degree. They can do some online classes. They could get that done. But then it'll be some other standard. It'll be, well, you're going to have to get a degree in a particular subject matter, or you have to get the certificate, or you have to pass some tests. It's going to, if the goal is to keep moving the goal line and prevent you from excelling in that area, and there'll just be more and more placed, upon the person. So that's how it would work.
But you said right on my, there's always going to be another implementation of a standard to try to make it harder. Once you start, let's say, going by the rules and you succeed, they make it hard. But that's the whole point. They're going to make it hard because they run the industries. See, NCAA is a business. They really want to keep these players as long as possible, but they know they can't because, like everything, the NBA made some rules say, you could still put yourself in the hat in the draft after 1 year, but in time, I could see the NBA pushing that to 2, as things pan out. It probably won't be this year, but let's say once the next bargaining agreement comes into play in the 2020, I wouldn't be surprised if they start to extend it. I hear talks about that too. Because they will.
Hey, Gary.
Yes.
You know what, too? This is why, too, you have athletes taking what they call bribes, or they take under the table money. I mean, they do it anyway. They give certain athletes under the table money anyway. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They do it anyway. So they give them cars sometimes. They give them a nice apartment to live in. I mean, to stay while they're in college, or So my point is that they do it anyway. The question a lot of the athletes will say to those to the NACC, they would say, well, you can't take care of my mother. You can't take care of people in my family. So if I have the means to, in fact, make $1 million, play for the NBA to take care of my family, why would you block me from doing that? Okay, what do you care? I mean, I'm basically I'm just here to play basketball for you anyway. I remember, Jimmy Johnson said this, the former coach of Dallas Cowboys, when he coached down at the University of Miami, he made a statement. He said, they come here to play football. Basically what he was saying, that the hell with academics. We know that some of these men are not academically inclined. And when he meant that, he said, I'm not saying that these young men are dumb, but everybody is not meant for college. Okay.
Yeah, but maybe they shouldn't be in college.
Oh, let me finish. A lot of these young men are good at a certain thing. They're good at sports, and that's how we're judging them. So Jimmy Johnson point blank said one time, he said, college. He said they're here to play football. That's it. You know, and we're trying to get them ready for the next level, and that's how he took it. You know, so I mean, was he right in saying that? I don't know, but that's a reality. You know, so I'm done.
Well, look.
Yeah, Bill Gates dropped out of college, didn't he? Didn't Bill Gates drop out of college?
He went to Harvard.
It doesn't matter. Didn't Bill Gates? He didn't go to Harvard.
He went to Harvard.
He didn't drop out.
Dropped out of Harvard.
He did not.
He dropped out of Harvard. He went to Harvard.
He went to Stanford.
Go look it up and come back.
You dumbass. Oh, shut up, fool.
Go look it up, sweetie.
Shut up, idiot. You're the dumb one. You're so dumb. I couldn't even understand how your wife could even afford to listen to you for 1 second, let alone look at you. Anyway,
I know. You got to go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So Bill Gates, he didn't finish college. College isn't never necessary. I'm sorry, my son's an attorney. Excuse me. Shut up, fool. Anyway, fool.
You got something to do. Go do something.
Anyway,
Housewives of Atlanta on. Housewives of Atlanta.
Anyway, go check some electrical lines, fool. Anyway,
that was funny.
Anyway, well, let me just say this. There have been a number of people that I know that are successful that did not go to college. They're real estate brokers. They own millions of dollars in real estate. They have thriving real estate practices. Bill Gates dropped out of college. College isn't always necessary. In fact, over in Europe, they start they test the children, find out what they're good at, what they want to do, and they start teaching them trades while they're in high school, so that they want to be an electrician, a plumber, a car mechanic. They start learning that, and they go to trade school. They don't go to a formal college. So it's not always necessary. This is a move. I understand both sides. Yes, I think it's great if people can go to college. But the way things are now, for a lot of young adults, they're working and going to school part-time, dragging it out. It's not the typical college experience where you're living on the campus in the dorm and you're forming friendships that way, and you're able to go and talk to your professors, and you're able to run for student council and try out for whatever intramural team or be a cheerleader for your basketball game. For a lot of students, that doesn't exist. They are working students. Mm-hmm. And their goal is to get a degree so that they can move forward in a career. So it's different nowadays. And I say that it's a move. I don't really know all the details about this Chris Paul situation. I'm not sure what it means. Is that he doesn't have a college degree and he's an agent. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
and that
he only has a high school degree as far as education he has attained.
Well, you know what? Not everybody does. In fact, if you look at a lot of the older white men that have been CEOs of companies, they didn't have college degrees either. They were able to move up in the company. So it all depends on the individual. He must be doing a good job if people are signing up with him.
He's doing an excellent job. That's why they started changing the rule, Miss Lady, in regards to, continue the work he does in regards to looking for young talent, guiding them, giving advice, And, one thing, Miss Lady, where we sometimes have our agreements and disagreements. I had the same short little argument with another fellow, I was saying earlier in this broadcast, in regards to people's decisions, what they want to do. You know, I emphasize many times that, you know, if you're going to go to this university or college, right, and you're going, let's say you're going to put yourself in debt. If it's not a free ride, if you're going to take any form of debt, do it in regards if you're going to get like a actual degree or career, like a lawyer, a doctor, or engineer. You know, those three fields. But they're always going to be around. Can we agree? Regardless how the system is going now, in regards to job market, those are needed: a lawyer, a doctor, and an engineer. I feel.
I mean, you know, there are other reasons to go to college besides those three.
I just
professions.
I know. I threw it out there because if you're going to spend the time.
I mean, you don't have children, but I want somebody to be, my children were in school, to be taught to somebody who is educated and had a teaching credential.
I mean, I'm not knocking. See, the problem is with the argument or the conversation I had with the other person, he make it feel that I'm shooting down college and I'm saying certain things that's dangerous, that people should not go. I'm saying if you're going to do anything, make sure you get the best out of it. You know what I'm saying? Don't do anything.
Whatever you do.
Yeah, whatever you do. You got to make sure the decision, and if you're going to pursue this, make sure you go hard. You know what I'm saying? And do the best of your ability. And make sure anything you come out of that, you benefit at the end of the day. Don't do something that you put yourself in debt and then you always look back and say, I should have did this instead. You should be sure in your decision.
But there's no guarantees, Gary. I don't care what it is. There's no guarantees in life. I mean, you basically, hopefully you look at the information, you assess your situation, what you want to do, where you want to go, you look at your support system, you look at a lot of things, how much it's going to cost, and you make a decision. All decisions are not going to work out. Heck, most black marriages end in divorce. I'm sure when they went and signed the marriage certificate, they weren't thinking, that it was going to fail. Most of them. Now, some of them probably did, but not most of them. So you do the best you can with the information and the understanding that you have. It's not a dead-end situation. You can always make changes in your life, one way or the other. You might have to take a step back. You might have to deviate to the left or right. You might have to, so you do the best you can. But no, would I spend $200,000 going to major in philosophy? Probably that wouldn't be so smart, unless you're a Rothschild or a Getty.
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, and this is my thing. And, thanks for clarifying that there's no guarantee. Everything is risk. And I said as a person on my own accord said, everything is risk. I agree. But like anything, when people ask, my opinion, I keep it raw and honest, And like you probably, because you're older than me, so do what you feel is the best interest, And that way, make sure you have a support system, which a lot of our people, for sure, depending on their situation, their support system might not be strong. So they got to do what they can,
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be in a certain a field and it requires an MBA, you have to, then you have to get an MBA. Now, that's the bottom line.
Okay.
If you want to teach school, you have to get your bachelor's degree and you have to get your teaching credential. There's no way around that. Yeah. So, it all depends. But, I mean, there are community colleges, there are state colleges that are a lot less expensive than private colleges. I tell you this much, though, there's a waiting list in some of those colleges, and those kids, a lot of them can't get their classes that they need. They can't move forward in their lives, and that's why they end up going to a private college and taking on debt because it's not working. They have to work. They have to try and get these classes. They can't get in. It might take them years. It just doesn't make any sense to get those particular classes. So you do the best that you can. is all I'm saying. And I wouldn't down college, but you have to be at all.
I went down here.
I would promote it for a lot of people, but because of the economic circumstances and because, especially if you're African American, racial discrimination is very real out in the world. We all know that. So you understand what you're going to be up against. And you know, you can go to I met attorneys that went to Stanford and passed the bar exam. They caught a lot of hell in some of those law firms. And they ended up, you know, leaving. There's like I'm saying, there's no guarantee about anything.
You're right.
Bottom line.
You're right.
Even if Mr. Trump's children, if they piss him off enough and go against him, do you think there won't be no repercussions? There ain't no guarantee.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. You're right. I ain't argue. Stay on line for a second, Miss Lady. Let me see what this is. Who's this? I hope you're in line.
What's going on, man? Jay NYC.
Oh, what's up, Jay? Yeah, you make a very good point, Miss Lady. At the end of the day, I just want our young people to make the best decision possible. I'm not going to steer them in a direction where I say you have to do this, because I feel I'm doing more harm than good. You know, so I just give them the fair assessment. The only thing I will say, and better guidance, if they want to ask my opinion where they should take their route in life, I'll tell them, say, find what you're good at. Say start from there. And if you feel is more you're good at the electrical field, the industrial field, wherever you feel, try to pursue that more than anything else, if you can. Because if you go and spend money, and make sure it's worth it. Because like you said, Ms. Lady, there's no guarantee. And that's one thing that I could take out of this whole conversation tonight. Okay? She gone. All right, Jay. You there?
So what's the subject, brother?
The Rich Paul rule.
You said that what?
The Rich Paul rule. The Rich Paul rule.
The Rich Paul rule?
Yeah.
So what's the concept on that?
It's a sports agent, a black sports agent named, I think his name Rich Paul, and he agents a certain number of athletes, from LeBron James, Eric Bledsoe, Draymond Green, well-known established players in the basketball world. He helps young athletes in decisions if they should, their stock value, if they should go pro. He's like the agent that will guide them so that they can get the contract they need if they decide to make that move to the NBA. The NCAA put a rule now for agents like himself, because he's a rising agent. He's been on the scene for over almost roughly 2 decades now, approach 2 decades, and he has been putting in some serious work in regards to the basketball world. And what the college trying to do now is they're trying to change the rules in regards to people that are agents trying to look for talent that they might need to get a 4 years degree, take a test, and what was the other thing? And some other thing to be eligible to be an agent for an up-and-coming NBA player or wants to go pro.
So is it because independent, because there's a lot of independent people involved with it and not people in the corporate world?
To be honest with you, because Rich Paul doesn't have a degree per se, he came straight out of high school and to do to scout agents, talent. One thing in his business called Clutch, if I can remember, he's been taking a lot of. He's very competitive. He's taking away a lot of these regular agents that's doing the same job. He's out competing them in regards to getting the right type quality player. Getting the contract. He's the top of the top, Rich Paul. So what the NCAA decided to step in is they're gonna try, not only say regulate, but make it harder for people that's going to be up and coming like Rich Paul that will come in the scene to be a sports agent and helping other young players. So they're trying to clamp that down by creating this rule, for people who want to be agents for the NCAA, looking talent and scout talents, actually. You get me?
Right.
That's Chris can give you. You have to. Well, you're not go back and back of the broadcast, so you can give your own take from what I said so far. I mean, but, yeah.
I mean, I'm saying for the younger guys in that field, they should, if there's an avenue for them to be compensated and paid for, because I know, for what I know, is that there's a lot of the times the parents put up a lot of money to get these guys to where they need to, whether it be camps and things like that, training and stuff like that. So whatever support they should be able to, they can do financially and also to help them, I'm with it, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And like I said before, this is all about competition at the end of the day, Jay. To implement this rule, you might shun a lot of potential black agents that don't got degrees to really participate in, the agent field in regards to recruiting. We all know that, and I'm not sure how many black agents totally that's agents in the fields that's helping scout and be agents for a lot of major players for upcoming drafts from basketball, football, etc. But for them to step in and do this, it seemed to me that there's a sense of fear that a man like his caliber to come in and do what he has done for almost 20 years, to say they don't want more like him to start, because they have the potential to do the same thing, because now you're taking somebody's money out of somebody's pocket. So a lot of these black players, I'm not sure if they're getting conscious or whatever, but they're not really taking kind to letting non-blacks agent them their careers. As you know, for the past couple of years, a lot of them have been losing money. They've been swindled by the same agents, and you know what agent I'm talking about. So a lot of them now are being wise. The ones that are millennials, most likely, and not trusting their time and resource with someone that's not part of their race. So let's say more Rich Pauls emerge, then it is what it is. So that's how I see it.
What do you think about, like even what Jay-Z's doing? So if he goes into that level of things, do you agree with him, helping out the guys in the college circuit of basketball and sports in general?
To be honest with you, if Jay-Z has the time, it wouldn't hurt he stepped in, because think about it, Jay's about to be 50 years old this year, right? He's about to be 50 this year, right? It wouldn't hurt if he stepped in to mentor enough of these young players and how the game really works, because I see Jay-Z's growth over the years now. And if he started to take his natural gifts as a rapper into the agent arena, he could be a vital tool to help a lot of these players get what is rightfully due, so they don't get swindled, undercut by a lot of these corporations. But that's just me.
All right, that's what's up. So I mean, guys, see if you got any other.
But we really shouldn't. I don't think should be that concerned about them being swindled and all that kind of stuff. Really?
Can I say something?
I mean,
yeah. Go ahead, Gigi.
I was going to say that even if they're excellent agents and even if they don't have college degrees or whatnot, they still need attorneys. The agent needs attorneys. The players need attorneys. So at the end of the day, it still comes down to education.
Well, I would say this, Gigi. Most people like Rich Paul that's been doing it for a long time, I wouldn't be doubting that he has the right agents or really right attorneys around him in regards to these problems. Right now, he's suing the NCAA right now as we speak.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
So,
and I hope he wins. I hope he does.
I mean, we'll see what happens. So,
Very interesting story. I can't wait to share it, Gary. Thank you.
Well, can I say something, Gary?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, here we go.
No, I just wanted to say, too, that there's another, issue here, and that's The issue is that, white males don't want to deal with black males, and they don't want black males to compete with them on that level.
That's the main point of all of it.
Yeah, and right, they don't want, and then what it is, if Rich Paul gets his way. Hold on 1 second. 1 second, dude. I think too that because, look, like you said earlier, that's going to can persuade other young men who have a savvy mindset to go into that arena, and they start to outdo white males. And of course, that's been the history of this country anyway. They hate to see black men be successful anyway. Period. So there's always a problem, and now all of a sudden they're going to make his education the reason why he shouldn't be a sports agent. I think that's wrong, and I think that's racist too. You see, they did the same thing with Reggie Lewis in New York City when he did one of the largest leverage buyouts in history on Wall Street. They did the same thing about him, but they hate the fact that he did that. So I think that this comes down again to this white male mindset that he's always versus the black man. So and to keep black men out of that arena of being sports agents, etc. This is how they do that, to keep them out without having a form of quote a degree or whatever the case might be. I think a degree doesn't constitute someone who can think from that perspective. That doesn't make him less smart because he doesn't have a degree. Mm-hmm. He might be smart.
No, it doesn't mean if he went to Harvard or Stanford that he's smarter than the rest either. Because I've dated someone that went to Harvard, and I had to correct him myself. Okay.
No,
so don't even tell me about Harvard at all. I've been there. I know all about it.
Hold on. Hold on a second. No, I'm not saying guys who could go to Harvard are smarter. I'm just what I'm saying. Guys who don't go to college might be smarter. That's my point.
Right. That's what she's saying. That's what you're saying. You didn't hear what you just said?
No,
she said that some people from Harvard that they think they were smarter, they ain't smarter. She had to put a motherfucker
Look at Trump
in Harvard. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. Hey, respect to you, Miss Lady. You got to put them in their place.
So it's where I'm saying that that's how I'm looking at it. I think that's the bigger issue here. That again, they don't like black males to, in fact, be successful. They don't like black males to compete with them. They don't like black males to make money like that. They don't like black.
Has it been for the history, though, Yashua? Don't you think that it's been there, right? That's been a thing that's been there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I said earlier. I said that earlier. I said it earlier. And so
it's a constant. It's always a constant battle, as you say.
So
that's what we can say.
But this is a bigger picture, Gary, and it's a bigger picture, and the bigger picture is about race, and I hope that comes out, because his story is not done, and I hope this comes out and say, hey, this is the bigger problem. White males don't want black males to compete with them. That's really the problem.
Mm-hmm. But that's like in any business, Joshua. You think about it, and
Oh yeah, that's in any business. But I'm saying before as sports agents, now there have been black sports agents before. He's not the first sports agent, but that's black. But I'm saying there's no other one. But I think the issue with him that he doesn't have, quote, this education they think that he should have because some of them went to school and got education, and I think that's dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Anybody else?
Any kind of degree was made by somebody to try to come up with something when you already knew it, and he said, "Well, now you're gonna have to go and go to school for this." Meanwhile, you already know what the hell that was.
Yeah, my question is: so, what precipitated this rule? Was there some injurious thing that happened from this agency?
No. Well, can I go?
The
NCAA recognizing that they've been caught taking advantage of young black athletes and other athletes of different races and making money off of them while the athletes are not making anything. Even the video games are making money off the images of college athletes, and they're not getting any benefits from that financially. So it's a whole new ball game, no pun intended, regarding players and their agents and like Joshua said, to a certain extent, the racial divide amongst them. And now the college students are being represented, and they're going to start making money off of getting some of the money back that they deserve for playing, representing these schools and bringing millions of dollars to their sports departments.
And GG, you know what, GG, too? You know what, GG? And this is another part, too, that they know that black athletes will pick black agents. If it's too many, if it's more black agents, they will pick black agents. They're not going to pick the white agents. And that's another part.
Most of them will.
Huh?
There's always going to be a couple that are going to go with a white agent, but most of them will be with someone that looks like them.
How things are shaping up. A lot of our girls are entertained.
Who's doing dishes?
Somebody's doing dishes and somebody's smoking a bong. Stop that shit.
Well, we know that's Gary. Gary, speak up.
I don't smoke. Don't play with me.
I'm just messing with you. Go ahead.
He don't smoke. He don't inhale like Clinton.
No, but I was wondering, is there some incident that happened with an agent that did not have a college degree that caused this alarm? I mean,
no.
I think
it's more independence.
No.
I think it's more of the independent guys.
Sure. I'm going to answer that. No. From what I'm finding out.
Can't hear you, Gary.
Can you hear me good?
Do it again. No.
Hello?
Yeah, we hear you. But you're far away, Gary.
Because my mic is on. All right, I'm aboard. I was saying this. No. There was nothing that caused them to make the change. They decided to change it on the fly. That's it, from what I've discovered. And the articles I read, they did not say anything specific why they changed it. And there are only a few articles that talk about the Rich Paul rule.
It's obvious why they changed it, because now the NCAA has to account for all the money that these colleges make off of these athletes, and the athletes don't get anything but a pittance in regards to the percentage. They make video games, private industries, colleges are making millions upon millions of dollars off of the athletes, and yet they're not being benefited.
Yeah, we understand that, but I'm saying, like, from a policy perspective, they have to have some justification for putting this rule in place. So, can they point to some incidents?
Miss Lady. Miss Lady, let me ask you a important question. When Trump makes a law in place, does he say any justification why he started putting any information of any executive order? Donald Trump.
Well, he tells you why he's doing it, but it may or may not make sense. But
right,
there you go.
But for them to change this, to put this rule in place, it has to be based on some kind of research or finding. I mean, because it's just all these arbitrary new rules. Even if it's not true, they have to come up with some reason why this change took place. Not just because we said we wanted to do it. That's not really good enough.
Well, this is my thing. Anytime they want to change something, they'll just change it, and eventually they'll come up with an excuse why they do it later on. This has just only been a week, almost a few days old when this came out.
I guess I'll do some research and find out what the reason is, if any.
The only thing I would say this, since this is not much of a topic right now of discussion out in the social media and YouTube streets right now, I expect in the next coming days they might say why they do it to give a reason. But number when they implement a rule, they just put it out there, say we're going to change it, and that's it. And then eventually later on they'll come up with an excuse why we do it. That's how they operate. Usually when somebody changes rule, the automatic will give you detail, A, B, and C, this is why we do it. They did not give me A, B, and C why they did it. They said we was going to change it. That's it.
They can't compete with that young black man.
And that's the answer.
Right. And that's my answer. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like, damn, okay, well, this dude must be a bad cat because if he scares them like that, well, they say, shit, we got to stop this motherfucker because he might inspire other young men to do the same thing.
Can you imagine if he opened up an all-black, well, he can't do that, but a mostly black agency?
He does have a black agency.
No, I mean as far as only his agents are people of color.
You know, I don't know. I have to look in more as agents.
Legally, I don't know if you can do that.
Then he could hire a figurehead that has a degree. And I mean,
that's true. That's true.
I mean, that's another way you can go around. Yeah, that could work. That could work.
But they're trying to send him and other young men who are inspired by him a message that we're gonna wait you out and roll this into court and try to, stall as long as we can till we can gather our troops and figure out how to compete with you. I just hope he doesn't disappear anytime soon.
Well, he probably won't because he hasn't did nothing. Sorry, Gary. Go ahead, Gary.
You don't have to have a reason to take a man of color out. Not a good one.
At the end of the day, like anything, when they make a move, they just make the move, and eventually they'll figure out how to get around it, like always. Because like this, most of these agents, either white or black, they're still getting their benefits and getting their undercuts for the work they do if they're able to get a certain agent to sign with a certain, team or corporation. And if you look at for the last few years, well, a lot of these players, after their careers are done, also they find themselves dead broke because the agent that they entrusted funnel their money and they're not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, if Rich Paul is many agents that's helping these agents get the benefits without breaking their pockets or making them go broke, then that's a problem. Because you make the money, but it's like you're supposed to work for free. And at the end of the day, what I mean by that, you spend all your money, you get this check. Sometimes a big contract. I want you to spend it all. So once your career's done, you check how much money, especially if you don't know where your money's going to, where you're spending, you're going to go flat broke. It's been evident. A lot of athletes, after 5 years, depending on what sport they play, they actually eventually go broke within 5 years. That's the honest truth. And we don't understand.
That because of all the children?
No, it's not children. It's they go broke because they don't
child
have
support?
Money management. And the people that they entrust, like their agents, have abused. Come here. They're still getting paid because they're signed to them. So anything they do, they have to still get paid by them while they manage their money. You know that?
Of course.
There's fees to having an agent. This is my retainer fee. You got to pay for this, that. While you entrust me with your $1 million. But
you have to sign a contract that you'll stay with them for a certain period of time.
Exactly.
But Gigi, you got a point because some of them have a voluminous number of children and they got to pay a lot of support.
Mhm. Yeah.
And not only children, but
and if they get married a couple of times, they got to pay alimony and child support. And that's one thing I remember. Sylvester Stallone. He mentioned Arnold Schwarzenegger. He said, how come, somebody asked him how come he doesn't have the money Arnold Schwarzenegger has. He said, because he got married once. And I've been married a number of times. And that impacts your resources.
Rambo, The Last Blood right now. He's making another movie.
Oh, Lord. Rambo in the nursing home?
Yeah, in a wheelchair.
Ah!
But does Sylvester Stallone have 4 kids?
Somebody's cheating at bingo and he's got to stop him.
Miss Lady. Where's she gone? Oh. How many kids Sylvester have? 4 kids? I think they're adults now. He has daughters. Could be wrong.
Yeah.
His son committed suicide.
Yeah, I remember seeing that on the news, an interview about 20 years ago, and he was saying, that it impacts, it does, and what's his name? Has a lot of children. What's his name? The tall guy.
The tall guy.
The tall guy. Who's the tall guy?
That has the butt muscle that's hurt. What's his name?
Butt muscle? Uh-oh.
Is he playing basketball?
You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, my.
You know who you talking about, Ms.
Dwight Howard?
Yeah, Dwight Howard. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was joking.
Well, he was out for a season.
Never mind.
Hey, Gary, I think too that this Rich Paul has not did nothing that's illegal. I mean, so he's somewhere not worrying about this thing.
That's the problem. They're trying to make it illegal.
Right. He hasn't done nothing illegal. If he knows how to read contracts, if he knows how to have a conversation about, the logistics of a young man playing college football, the logistics of, his ability to play the game, and I think that's what matters. But all the rest of the stuff is just a bunch of hoopla. And I think that the more I think of it, this is really about who he is. This is not really about whether or not he's how smart he is or not, because it's obvious he's outsmarting everybody because he's doing it from a position where he doesn't have a degree, and he's doing it from his wit. That's what he's doing it as. You see, but again, that's how I'm looking at it. But that's all I gotta say, man. But he hasn't done nothing illegal.
No, he has done really nothing.
I mean, he's obviously intelligent. Not having a degree doesn't mean you're not intelligent.
I know this lady, but you got to understand, one thing with older cats, especially men and women, that say that most youngsters should get a degree and all this stuff, they're only basing it, if you have a degree, you're going to have something better in life, and it might make you intelligent. This is our people thinking today, that degree validates you, that you're not only something, but you have some sense of intelligence, and that is not necessarily the case.
Well, plus, excuse me, Gary, I think the players want to talk to somebody that they can relate to, and that can relate to them.
That's what Rich Paul does. He relates.
Right.
Gary, you 1 in a million.
I know.
1 in a million. What? Never mind.
All right. This is what I'm going to do. Well, y'all guys keep talking. Let me do this.
Yeah. No, that's a good. Actually, you attacked a really good subject matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
where does Rich Paul guy from? Where's he from?
Maybe it stems from slavery, where slaves were to be killed and maimed, that they were educated. They had to sneak and read, and they really wanted to learn, and so they had to read secretly, and people taught them secretly because, so it stems from that, and that was a way out from the farm for a lot of black people. It really was. And they were able to go to college and get government jobs and, buy homes and get a retention and send their kids to school. So it has been historically a way out of poverty. However, things are now so globalized and everything is so expensive, especially education, that they changed the game up. And
that's the whole point. They gotta keep changing the game, make it harder for a lot of people, especially us.
But it does add to one's sense of self-worth if you do go through college, and because it's not easy for a lot of black people. It's a lot of hardship. It's a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of being focused. It's a lot of giving up instant fun and pleasure. So instead of maybe partying, all the weekends, you're at the library. You have to study. You have to prepare for tests. You have to prepare to get called on in class. You have to prepare your term papers and things like that. So it does add to, your to some internal kind of focus and discipline. And so you could say, well, I went through that. I was able to accomplish that in spite of, not having money, having to work, dealing with A, B, C, D, E, F, with a racist teacher who wanted me to fail, but I succeeded. So that does give one a sense of accomplishment. And that's something that they can't take away.
Indeed.
They could take away your job. They could take away But it does. I mean, so once you've done that, you know you can deal with other situations. You know what I'm saying?
So just going to training, go through the training. Always, you say, oh, well, just because they put this in front of me doesn't mean that it's over. I'm going to, you know what, even though it's not right that they put this in front of me, I'm going to accomplish it, show them that I'm doing what I got to do, and keep moving forward, despite that this, you know, was another
obstacle.
They try to put, obstacle they try to put. You know, I'm going to overcome it and just keep moving forward and try to get to where I got to get to.
All right, guys. I'm going to end tonight's stream. This is my closing remarks. And one thing that I find about this information, I'm not really sad but kind of proud because it shows that as men, we are on our rise. We are actually the ones that's changing the dynamics of this country in regards to how rules are implemented. So when people look back at history, is really the black man, black woman is the ones that's changing the course of history as we know it amongst the racist society we live in today, what we call America. But other than that, thank you for everybody for listening to tonight's broadcast. Look out for the next stream. Until next time, take care now.
Thank you, Gary.
Take care now. Bye.
And that concludes the Rich Paul live broad screen. And that concludes the broadcast. And that concludes the broadcast on the topic, the Rich Paul rule. Comment, subscribe, and like the video. And always look at all other videos done on Chaos Reign channel. Let the chaos reign.